Hello and welcome everyone. Today I wanted to just kind of take a little bit of a time and talk about a argument that's kind of been coming up a lot. The argument is for PvP is going to be solo queue versus premades. So for those of you that do not know, in Star Wars The Old Republic in PvP, you can queue together as a group in arenas as 4 or in a war zone as 8. You can have a full 8 stack now. It's kind of been changed. Used to you could only have 4, now you can have a full on 8 stack. There's been a lot of people that have been on both sides of the argument, so I'm just going to kind of quickly go over kind of the argument and kind of things like that. Some good gameplay in the background that just shows kind of some DPS pressure at work. So the argument for Premades is that the game is an MMO. The game was essentially made to be played with other people. That just because people can queue up with whoever they want, that's how the game is actually supposed to be played. The other argument kind of for Premades is that anyone can make their own premade. You can just go in, you can start inviting people, you can add them to their group, no big deal, right? It's not stopping anybody from doing that. So if you're not doing that, why are you not? And then if we look at it on the other side, kind of the argument against Premades is it really boils down to one thing, and this is going to be the part where it might get a bit controversial for people. The reason that people do not like Premades is skill gap in the game. That's ultimately what it comes down to. Almost everyone that is whining and crying about Premades are players that are generally not that great. It's kind of the truth, because what happens is, and it's not even players that are, it'd be players that are average. So if you take a group of average players and you put them against the handful of players in the game that are exceptional or above average, they are going to get absolutely stomped. It's just going to happen. There's nothing about it. It's either by composition by itself, just because of what the other team is running, tank heals combos, different DPS, meta DPS, whatever. Generally, that doesn't even matter though. Generally what happens is the skill gap has gotten so big in the game that the difference between a player who's been playing for like PvP for 10 years since beta and a player who's been playing for like 2 weeks is absolutely just monstrous. There just isn't enough population of people in that middle range, and that's been happening for quite a few years now. The matches that I've been getting to the PvP have basically been just stomps left and right. Like, I feel like I can do nothing wrong just because of the overall level of skill that I've been seeing. Like, you can just look at this video. I'm not getting targeted. I'm not getting touched at all. Like, if you have star parts open, if you have these third-party apps, which you should be running, I usually run it here. I cut this one out just for the video. You should know who's doing the most damage. You should be targeting them. You can kill them. These people in the game probably don't even know what it is, quite frankly. They don't know what it is. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're looking at. Like, I'm getting untouched, and you guys will see at the end of the game, I'm just doing massive damage here. So, really what it comes down to is, it's the balanced matchmaking that people want. Right, so people want to have a match that's fair and balanced. Even the premades do. Like, you're not getting in a premade just to go roll over noobs and do things like that. It's not why you're in a premade. The reason why people get in premades are 2 reasons. One, is to play with their friends, play with people they want to be with, just kind of hang out, have a good time, which is generally the reason why I'll get in a premade. Honestly, I'll queue with anybody. I really don't care if they're bad or good. It doesn't bother me. I have my own playstyle that works regardless. Kind of actually just run in and do stuff. Create as much DPS pressure as possible. You can see there, just ran into 3 of them. But they either want to play with their friends, or they don't want to play with the players that are bad. It's one or those two. That's pretty much what it comes down to. I've been on premades on both ends of it. You can definitely make a case for a lot of this. So I had originally started on the Republic side back when the game first came out, back when classes were kind of separated and everything. The Republic side just did not win PvP matches. Let me be completely honest. The Imp side was so much better at PvP, you almost had to run a premade to stand a chance. So that's kind of where I came from. So I used to be in a lot of premades back in the day. It's just the truth. Because the level of skill just between factions was absolutely ginormous. But now, with the game being out for so long, and how there have been people who've been playing the game literally for 10 years at this point, there is a huge just skill canyon. I don't know how else to describe it. I see people who don't even know the rotations, who walk backwards, who backpedal, who obviously don't keymine, who keyboard turn, like all of this stuff that is just like basic to PvP users who've been playing the game forever. It's just not around. I don't know what it is. I don't know how you fix that. Because the biggest reason I think that the premade is an issue is that knowledge gap. So when people are in a premade, they usually associate it with getting stomped by people. Yeah, there's premades out there that are bad. There's premades out there with new players, but those aren't the things that people are complaining about. People are complaining about the premades where you have 4 people to 8 people in there that are doing, all of them doing plus 10k DPS or 15k HPS or whatever it is, with tanks and heals and all that. That's what people are complaining about. The truth of the matter is, and people might hate to hear this, the reason why you guys are complaining about it is because you're not at that level. It's just the truth. Those guys have probably spent more time parsing, more time on their dummy. Why would they want to play with you? If they wanted to play with you, quite frankly, you would already be in their group. I don't have any trouble ever getting into a premade if I want to. The fact of the matter is I could literally just go and start inviting people, and pretty much everyone will join. If people don't join your group to make a premade, it probably says more about your level of skill at the game. I don't mean it to be something in a condescending tone, but the fact of the matter is, if someone invites me to a premade, I'll pretty much join whatever I have. Like I said, I don't care. I don't care if you're good, bad, it's whatever. Play PvP so long in this game, it's whatever. But if people are actually serious and wanting to try, and wanting to actually, like, quote unquote, play the game seriously, even though there's not really any leaderboards or anything, why would they join, or why would they want to premade with someone who does 2k DPS or sits in stealth all game? I mean, look at this. Look at what we're looking at right now. He's not even pressing buttons. Look at all 3 of them. So I have 3 people right here attacking me. They cannot kill me at all. I am in no danger ever. Why would someone who wants to PvP, who wants to win, who wants to do anything, ever queue with these people? The fact of the matter is the skill gap is just too great. And that's just the truth of the matter, is most people that complain about premades are actually complaining about the skill gap in matches. And right here is a great example of it. As I am just basically 1v3 at this point. Yeah, I do have heals, but I'm gonna be honest with you, those heals aren't doing much. I'm at full health. Like, I'm not taking any damage. I'm rotating my cooldowns correctly. I'm using everything correctly. People are just standing around. Like, there's nothing that's going on here that I couldn't handle by myself. You should never, in this game, ever be able to 3v1. I mean, 2v1s, occasionally, depending on cooldowns, yeah, you can squeak one out. All things considered, if players are equal skill. Occasionally, you can squeak out a 2v1. It used to be a lot easier in previous matches. But nowadays, a 3v1, you should just die. Just don't have the cooldowns, don't have the damage. The problem is just, for whatever reason, the skill gap has made it so I just don't really, I'm not really scared of people anymore. And that's kind of the truth of why you wouldn't join a premade with people with lower skill. Why would you want to put yourself in that position? Why would you want to essentially make yourself have a bad time? So I understand the argument against premades, but the true fundamental problem that Star Wars has right now, it's not a premade, it's not a solo queue, it's a skill expression problem. There is no way to show what your skill is in the game currently. You just, sure, you know. I mean, the top players have a good idea of who's good. I mean, I know certain players that I consider good, that I know that are going to do well. There's certain players that I know I have to pay more attention to. But if you're just new, or you want some, like, cold hard proof, it just isn't there. There's nowhere around. There's no leaderboard. There's nothing to say you're doing good. So until there's some type of leaderboard or something, far as I'm concerned, the whole argument doesn't make any sense. What does it matter if people are in a pre-made? What does it matter if you win or lose? Right now, there's no reason to win or lose a PvP match. Doesn't matter. The only thing that you're doing in PvP at this point is just to have fun and enjoy it. So what? They're in a pre-made. They're having a good time. If you don't enjoy that they're in a pre-made, then there needs to be some type of ranking system. And that's what we should be pushing BioWare for. We need some type of ranking system, leaderboard system for 4s and 8s. Solo queues for both of them. That's what needs to happen for PvP to actually be good again. I've said it from day one. They should have never gotten ranked. Group 8s was a bad idea. I always said it should have been a solo Q8. Solo ranked Q8s. That's what it should have been. I think the game would play exceptionally well if we had a solo queue for ranked that were 8s and one for 4s. I think the game would actually be amazing. Quite frankly, I think the game is very good, especially with the new move to 64-bit when we're getting better performance. If we had a solo queue for 8s, I think a lot of people would be playing it. And that's really my whole crux of it. Since there's not a ranking system, that argument really doesn't matter anymore. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think about the whole pre-made versus solo queue kind of debate in the comments. And as always, everybody have a good time. See ya.